Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. I am yours truly, Coach Shock. We are here to discuss the day one of free agency for the Indianapolis Colts, and they did not sit on their hands this year. They made a few splashes and a few moves, and a lot of Colts fans are happy about this one. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys are interested in any other Colts type of content, check out the website at www.thebluestable.com. We have articles and things of that nature on that. Follow us on all social media platforms and check us out on every type of social media outlet in general. We got Apple, Spotify, you name it, YouTube, the X app. We're located everywhere. Just check us out at the Blue Stable. We appreciate that. And check out the Culture Shock as well. It's located on each and every platform. But let's go ahead and hop into day one of free agency. So the Colts made a few moves. The Colts went out there, traded. Of course, you guys may already know they traded Zaire Franklin to the Green Bay Packers for in exchange for defensive tackle Colby Wooden. Other than that, the Colts did not hesitate there. They had to create some space, and they've got some players paid as well. So the Colts went out there. The free agent Kwity Paye is no longer in Indianapolis. He was a free agent. He went to the Las Vegas Raiders, and they wind up signing him to a $16 million deal. And then the Colts wind up bringing back kicker Blake Grupe. He was there last year after the injury to our star kicker. They wound up signing Blake, and he had a pretty good season. So they brought him back, which is not a bad move in my opinion. And that's not the end of it. The Colts wind up trading Michael Pittman Jr. to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they wind up signing him to an extension 3-year, $59 million deal. We wind up trading him for compensatory picks, which is pretty much late in the draft. So it's pretty much nothing. They got him for free at this point. But late picks for the Colts are always good picks. So it was like a seventh round pick this year going into the draft. So more picks for us. That's always a plus. It was a pick for a pick. Now that I think about it, it was a pick for a pick. So both like in the same range. So they really didn't move anywhere into the draft. They didn't move up either. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But like I said, their late round picks is pretty decent. So hopefully they can make a splash in the draft this year, just due to have the lack of picks, no first rounder. So it should be interesting to see how they move in the draft. Their drafts of recent times have been better than what we're used to seeing. So this should be a good offseason. But yeah, they traded Michael Pittman Jr. He was a pretty decent wide receiver one for a few years, dealt with a few injuries, but big, tall guy, always available, plays through injury, battles it out, and he is very reliable. So the Pittsburgh Steelers got them a tall receiver, possibly a number one in my opinion, and he got his contract extension. So, hey, he got paid. The Colts, like I mentioned in the last few episodes, the Colts this offseason is looking like they're going to start a whole new realm of football in Indianapolis. It's out with the old and in with the new. They believe in, Michael Pittman Jr. Was decent, but, they felt like they'd be better off without him. And if you look at the play wise and scheme wise, the creativity of the Colts offense last year, he wasn't really used like he was back in the day. But, I feel like with the departure of Michael Pittman Jr., the offense may get a little faster and more speed around the offense, revolving around Tyler Warren and John Taylor. So it should be interesting to see what the dynamic of the offense looks like without a Michael Pittman Jr. there. Like I said, he battled the injuries at about the past few years. But the dynamic of the offense, is a little bit more up speed without Michael Pittman Jr. Like I said, he was a dog. Mr. Prime Time is what I used to call him. Every time we had a big game, he'll step up and make some plays. But like I said, they traded him to Pittsburgh. Hopefully, wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he goes out there and make a name for himself in Pittsburgh. He went on social media and talked about how excited he was. So it should be interesting to see what he looks like. But after that happened, of course, the Colts did all of this and wind up extending Alec Pierce. That was the first move. That's great to hear. A lot of Colts fans was banging the anvil. They wanted Alec Pierce to stay in Indianapolis. I was one of those guys just due to how reliable he was in the offense. And him, in my opinion, like I said, with all being said, he was the number one wide receiver for a few years. Like I said, he was always reliable, big hands, can always make a play out of nothing. His yards per catch was off the charts. He always can extend the play no matter where he is on the field. Defenses have to look for Alec Pierce because if they don't, he's going to tear you apart. And like I said, he was the number one wide receiver in my opinion. Guys might think otherwise. I know the social media dispute was a lot of people kind of compare him to Kenny Galladay. But like I said, this guy is worth every penny in my opinion. I'm so glad he's still here in Indianapolis and not in New England or not in Vegas or things of that, not in Jacksonville, not in Tennessee. There's so many teams that could have used his stability, but I'm happy that they wind up bringing him back and Daniel Jones. This duo was pretty good together, and now they're going to have another chance to run it back. He said that this team has potential to go places. They started off 8-2. This team was so good at the beginning of the year. Of course, they had controversy and battled injuries and things of that nature, but the way they started was something that the Colts fans have not seen in a while, and they have a chance of running it back next year and getting better. Like I said, they're revamping this team up, having a new dynamic outlook with this defense and offense. This offense might look a little bit more faster and might change the pace a little bit. So it's probably going to look better than what we've seen last year. So hopefully the continuity and everything will play a part into the season next year. It's going to be interesting to see how they look going into the season and to see what they're going to do for the rest of this offseason, which is the rest of this free agency and going into the draft. But like I said, number one wide receiver, in my opinion, is back in Indianapolis, and he is here for 4 years with a contract extension of $114 million. That guy's worth every penny. Glad he's back in Indianapolis. Kwity Paye got an extension, like I said earlier, with the Raiders when he was in free agency. They wind up letting him go, letting him walk. Like I said, Kwity Paye was a pretty decent pick. There was other guys a lot of Colts fans wanted instead of Kwity Paye, but I said with his contribution, he's so fast at getting off the line. Getting home is another thing to talk about, but he's very explosive off the edge. If he can stay healthy, he can be pretty good for the Raiders. But they wind up signing him to a 3-year, $48 million deal, $32 million guaranteed. Wish him the best of luck in Las Vegas. His time is up in Indy. Another person, time is up, former center for the Indianapolis Colts. Ryan Kelly went to the Vikings last year. This offseason, he wound up announcing retirement. So now Ryan Kelly is no longer playing football after 10 years. He was an incredible leader, incredible center when healthy in Indianapolis. He's been through the ups and downs, been a vet for so long, former Pro Bowler, is deciding to hang it up. Like I said, this was a guy that we thought was going to retire a season before, even the offseason, even before last year. With everything going on, we thought, Ryan Kelly this might be his last year. But he gave it another go with Minnesota, but this is his last year. So he's going to be retiring. Wish him the best of luck in the retirement stage. Like I said, he was a true vet in Indianapolis. He was a dog when healthy, one of the best centers I've seen in my time watching football. He wound up leaving a message. It said, 10 seasons, what an incredible ride it was. I was blessed to be around some of the greatest people this sport has to offer. I always wanted to leave each place better than how I found it. And with that, I can hang my hat, forever grateful for my family and brothers. Cheers. So like I said, wish the best of luck to Ryan Kelly, to his retirement, a good 10 years of football. Like I said, he's a true vet. He was a dog when healthy in Indianapolis for so long. But the game's not going to be the same without him. So, like I said, wish him the best of luck in retirement. And the next move for the Indianapolis Colts, they went up there and got another defensive end, Arden Key, former Titans, the guy that the Colts fans are used to seeing. He is now in Indianapolis on a 2-year deal, up to $20 million and $11 million guaranteed. Arden Key averaged not average, but career sack-wise, he had about 30 sacks, including 17 over the past 3 years with Tennessee. And now he is in Indianapolis backing up Latu. I don't think that's going to be the last move they make in Indianapolis, especially edge rush-wise. They need to go heavy on edge rush. I'm pretty sure they might draft one as well. But the Colts made a move in edge rush. Like I said, that is the biggest question mark going into this season. The edge rush needs to be more explosive. Latu's a dog, but on the opposite side, we need some more hitters. This is a good rotational piece, in my opinion. They got Colby Wooden at defensive tackle, and now they got Arden Key as a rotational piece as well. I think he'll contribute a lot with him and Latu rotating. So I think it'll be a good rotational piece, in my opinion. This is all moves of day one. I think day one was a good day for the Indianapolis Colts. Looking forward to seeing what else they do in the offseason. They've been making some moves. Now, honestly, I think they need to go get more defensive players, possibly a linebacker vet-wise, another corner, a safety if need be as well. With Cross out there being a free agent, I think they need to hit the safety room as well. But there's a lot of talent still available out there. Interesting to see what they're going to do. We will be back to talk more about it when they do make moves. But these are all the news I have for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Ryan Kelly, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr., Kwity Paye, and Arden Key. All of these things in the comment section. Follow us on all platforms. Once again, at thebluestable.com. That's the website. Check it out. Photos and things of that nature, articles, all that good stuff. And check us out on all platforms. Every social media outlet, look up either the Blue Stable Podcast or Culture Shock. You will find Colts news. That's where you need to be. Other than that, that's all I got for you. This is Culture Shock signing out. You guys have a good one. And until next time.